Greetings, friends, and welcome to a Star Wars special. I know it's been a while since I did a Top X related video, but this time I've been putting this off for far too long. For 40 years now, Star Wars has been a very successful series. But if there's one thing that really makes me love this series even more, was of course the main weapons that the Jedi and the Sith used when I first saw the Phantom Menace. The lightsabers. Welcome to my top 10 lightsaber hilt designs. For this list, I am going to talk about the designs of each hilt, any modifications, and famous wielders. However, there will be a couple of exceptions for this list, with some being put on an entry of its own. So, without any further ado, let's see which hilt design is the best of the best. The War Dragon Rider's lightsaber. If there was one thing that I love about many lightsabers, is that many are one of a kind. This one is obviously no exception. This was a modified lightsaber that had 2 hilts and 3 separate blades, one on each end and one connecting the other hilts together. That's all we know about this lightsaber. And of course, famous wielders include the War Dragon Rider himself. The standard lightsaber, sometimes called vanilla lightsabers. They are the preferred designs for many force sensitives. There were many variations of these hilts. Some were modified to be used as a cane for the elders. Some also have dual phase actions, which lets the user extend the length of the blade. Some were also modified to function underwater, like Kit Fisto's lightsaber. And they could even be split into pieces for concealment, like Kaden Jarrus' lightsaber. There were also training lightsabers, which were basically standard lightsabers but with a very low power setting. In fact, trainees can even pick them up by the blade and only suffer minor injuries. Almost very little. And of course, famous wielders included nearly every force-sensitive Jedi and Sith in galactic history. The Force Sabers. These were technically the very first lightsabers ever to be created. Unlike other lightsabers, the Force Sabers were required the use of the dark side of the Force to be activated. This was proven to be too dangerous for light side users for obvious reasons. Thanks to these, the Proto-Sabers were later invented, which did not require the dark side to be used. Famous wielders included the members of the Rakatan Infinite Empire. The Lightsaber Pikes, sometimes referred to as lightsaber lances. These lightsabers are known to be used as staffs for many wielders. They're created with a unique alloy that enables them to resist the blades of other lightsabers. Their beam was shorter, but thicker than the standard lightsaber as well. Famous wielders include the Emperor's Shadow Guards and the Jedi Temple Guards, who wielded modified, double-bladed lightsaber pikes. The Crossguard Lightsaber, also known as forked lightsabers. This was a unique lightsaber that had 3 separate blades, a primary blade and 2 dagger-sized blades extending at 90 degrees of the main blade. These lightsabers worked well because the extra blades provided better protection and could even dig into an opponent in a lightsaber lock. There was another version of the primary blade with only 1 dagger-sized blade at a 45-degree angle. Famous wielders include Daz Ranos, Robilo Darte, and Kylo Ren. Irak Ismaren's 8 lightsabers attached to his body armor. Remember when I said that many lightsabers were unique? This one is obviously no exception. When fighting, Irak would literally run towards his enemies and just slash at them like a wild man. He had a wicked killing spree with these lightsabers. And of course, famous wielders include Irak Ismaren himself. The Darksaber. This was an ancient black-bladed lightsaber that dated back from the time of the Old Republic. Not a whole lot is known about it. What we do know is that this was created from the very first Mandalorian Force Sensitive of the Jedi Order. Years later, it was stolen by a group called the Death Watch, and many Jedi have died upon its blade. Its saber was nearly flat, thin, and curved to a point of a metallic sword. Famous wielders include Terra Vizsla, Pre Vizsla, Darth Maul, and Sabine Wren. The curved hilt lightsabers, sometimes called dueling lightsabers. As their names imply, these lightsabers had a curved hilt that gives about a 40 to 45 degree angle. It worked well because it fit much easier in the palm of the hand. This greatly helps with those that use great strength in battle, especially for those who specialize in Form 2. Famous wielders include Count Dooku, Darth Bane, Komari Vasa, and Asajj Ventress, who later got Komari's lightsabers and modified them to form a saber staff when connected. The double-bladed lightsabers, also called double sabers or saber staffs. These lightsabers emitted two blades, one on each end. The hilt was about twice as long as the standard lightsaber. Double-bladed lightsabers were used for minimal movement but with great striking speed. They're great in terms of deflecting and blocking. There are a few different variations of this lightsaber. Some have been modified to have them be able to fold, which would be used as single blades when needed. There was another style that had featured a spinning function, although an obvious disadvantage was that the circular rotation on the hilt was a prime target to destroy the weapon. Famous wielders include Darth Maul, Savage Opress, the Inquisitors, and Pron Krell. And before I unveil my number one spot, here is an honorable mention. Ezra Bridger's lightsaber. His lightsaber was a hybrid between a lightsaber and a blaster. In blaster mode, it fires ammunitions and that usually is set for stun. It can even knock out an enemy for a long period of time. In lightsaber mode, it has a dual phase mode which allowed Ezra to extend the length of the blade. Famous wielders include, of course, Ezra Bridger and at a time, Kaden Jarrus. Exar Kun's lightsaber. This lightsaber won the number one spot due to being such a unique design. It was a modified standard lightsaber that was later given the ability to feature two blades rather than just one. While it was long enough to be gripped by both hands, it was best to use it when it was only used by one hand. With one hand, Exar Kun was able to deal tons of deadly attacks with only his wrist, rather than his entire arm. This made him one of the most agile Siths in galactic history. And of course, famous wielders include Exar Kun himself. This has been my top 10 favorite lightsaber hilt designs. Thanks for watching. If you liked the list, then why not give it a like, add it to your favorites, or share it with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, or anywhere. Stay tuned as we jump from my top 10 favorite lightsaber hilt designs to my top 5 lightsaber colors. Or, if you would like to see some Let's Plays that I've done, a good example would be the playlist you're seeing right there, which is a Let's Play that I'm currently playing, Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Final Mix. Thanks for watching once again, and as always, may the Force be with you.